when we look at the various subpopulations of the homeless population, and you see that in the poverty realm, and how many are rural, how many are urban, how many are whatever, you have to realize the danger of that, because we should be looking at what's the common thread, not what's the difference. Because when we talk about a systemic issue, when we look at poverty, when we look at homelessness, when we look at racism as a systemic issue, the individual makeup of the various subpopulations of homeless and poor people and shit mean nothing. It's what do they have in common? What's impacting all of them? Because that's what society, that's what our governmental structures were set up to address. The government wasn't set up to fulfill the needs of every single individual. Government was set up to fulfill the needs of a community. And in order to do that, you have to look at the needs of the community as a whole. And if we spent less time redefining when a family or youth are considered homeless, or when Reagan redefined when somebody's considered unemployed, and looked at what's the trend here with unemployment, not how do we redefine unemployed people to make unemployment numbers go down, and then say, well, the reason is because these people have these issues. The reason welfare needed to be reformed was because poor people needed life skills training. Bullshit. That wasn't why welfare needed to be reformed. Welfare needed to be reformed because neoliberal economic policies dictated that you don't put money out if nobody's making money. So the first step in reforming the welfare system was to privatize it and make sure that EDS and other companies are making money off of it. It's such a manipulative tool to say, well, homelessness is because this number of them are left-handed. Homelessness is because this number of them are, from a rural community. This number are drug addicted. This number are mentally ill. What is it they all have in common? Oh, we wiped out affordable housing funding. And that created homelessness. Mental illness existed prior to 1983. Racism existed prior to 1983. A drug addiction existed prior to 1983. So we know those are issues. We know those are issues throughout our community. That isn't the homeless issue, because those issues existed before we had the massive homelessness that we have today in America. So I get very, and also after 30 years of doing this work, I've seen, if we took all the trees that were cut down to print all the studies that were done on homelessness and used those trees to build housing, we would have a hell of a lot less homeless people today than we currently do.